AV and School of Culture and Creative Expression, we would like to extend a warm welcome to Sreelakshmi. I would like my colleague Deepan to contextualize this lecture within the program. As such, we have circulated your CD, so it won't take too long to introduce the artist, but maybe Deepan could add some bit. And also would like to thank you for accepting the invitation. Also would like to thank Mamta for introducing the artist.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. This is the first time, as we all know, to have a traditional performing artist visiting SEC, having a suggestion demonstration. The kind of programs what we run here is main focus is on more contemporary folk experience and studies. But it's a chance to listen to a traditional artist. And I would like to introduce Lakshmy Govardhanan. She's from Kerala, and she was trained under distinguished gurus such as Guru Sri Pasumarthy, Pasumarthy and rattaiah sarma, Srimati Vyjayanti, kashi, Srimati manju, bargaavee, and Srimati Vyjayanti in Kuchipudi. Sreelakshmi has performed at many festivals in India, and she also traveled across the world and performed in Germany, Switzerland, UK, and UAE. She has conceived and created many dance workshops and events, and is currently the coordinator of Rattaiah, an annual dance festival and workshop organized by Kerala Secular Academy. And Sreelakshmi is also the founder and director of Abhinaya, a space for dance. And Sreelakshmi is also a postgraduate in psychological counseling and hypnotherapy. Welcome. Thank you.
Namaskaram. I really don't know how to start because I see a mix of participants here. Most of you are the staff and few students, I guess. You are the students?
This side is staff.
Staff.
This side is students.
So, and few of my friends too. So I'm very happy to be here. And it's always a pleasure sharing what I passionately follow in my life. Kuchipudi is, I would say Kuchipudi is my life, and I've tried many things. I've done psychology, I've worked in a college, worked in a clinic, but end of it, I had to come back to dance, and that's where my heart belongs. And I'm happy now. I'm not saying that I was sent, but I'm more happy and contented and in peace. I thought of introducing Kuchipudi, the history of Kuchipudi, the histrionics of Kuchipudi. But now as I see, it being a very informal group, I think I'll make it very personal. The history of the Kuchipudi, I would explain from my personal experience. I started learning Kuchipudi when I was in 8th standard, and that's the time I first saw Kuchipudi. It is a very dramatic art form. The canvas is so huge that you can portray anything that you want in a very free space. When it comes to Bharatanatyam or Mohiniyattam, we have a very strict pattern. Even Kuchipudi has got a strict pattern, but at the same time we can add more freedom to it. That is because the origin of Kuchipudi is from Katha Kalakshepam. It's a Yakshagana format. In Kerala, we have an art form called Katha Prasanga, which is we tell a story, we sing, And the origin format of Kuchipudi was also Katha Prasanga in another form called Katha Kalajit. So it is very informal. And from there, what I realized is Kuchipudi is very political in nature also. This was a small group which used to travel from villages to village, and they used to communicate to the audience regarding their problems, the problem that happens around in the village, and it was put in a very with the help of humor and with the help of drama. They used to communicate it with the village people. So that's exactly what attracted me to that art form. At that point, I didn't realize that is what I like in that form. But later, you realize the freedom that you gain in a form. I hope you're following it. Yeah. So as I said, Kuchipudi is the Yakshagana format, and it's the name of a village as well. It was initially known as Kuchipudi Bhagavata Mela Natakam because it was from a dance drama tradition, and later it was changed to a solo dance form. This dance form that you see today, that I'm going to perform today, is just 150 years old. But the original form is around, it is from 14th century, 15th century maybe. And the person who developed it, the person who gave birth to this art form is Siddhendra Yogi. And his first work was Bhama Kalapam. Bhama Kalapam again, it's a very beautiful dance. That's the first dance in Kuchipudi. If I had a live musician, I would be able to show it with music. Now I have to use my own voice to sing and perform it for you. Bhama Kalapam explains the characteristics of Bhama, Satya Bhama. The story is very funny. Bhama is a very proud queen of Krishna, Lord Krishna, and she thinks she's the most beautiful woman in the whole face of earth. So everything is very, she had that arrogance in her. So once Krishna asked her, who is the most beautiful person in the whole world? Bhama, poor thing, she said, it's me. And Krishna was very upset and he left. And from then it starts. And Bhama, the first portion of Bhama Kalapam is Bhama explaining herself. And she says, I am Bhama, look at me. I am Satya Bhama. And she says, Krishna may have so many wives, but I am the best among that. And I am the wife of Lord Krishna and also the daughter of Satraj. And that's the way she explains everything. And she also says that, see, you must have heard about Parijatam, the tree Parijatam, which is very auspicious. And when she asked for Parijatam, Krishna got it for her like that. And I just planted it somewhere in my garden. It's just there. That's the kind of attitude she has got. So the beginning of that item, Bhama Kalapam, it goes like this. Bhamane, Satya Bhamane, Satya Bhamane, Satya Bhamane. She has got a mix of expression. For a moment she is very elegant, then she is shy, then she's kind of, why is it like this? So everything comes in her expression. And then she says, see, my walk is so beautiful and everybody wants to pet me. Who will say that? Only Bhama can say that. And that's the character of Bhama and throughout. And in the first bit, Bhama explains that I'm very beautiful, everything. And the latest segment, Bhama's friend, Madhavi, enters. And in this particular dance, there is only 3 characters. Satya Bhama, Madhavi and Lord Krishna. And Madhavi is a close confidant. And to Madhavi she says, oh my dear Madhavi, I'm in such a bad situation. Why don't you go find my husband? And Madhavi is very tricky. And she wants to make Bhama realize that it is because of her arrogance. So Madhavi tries everything. And Madhavi asks, so who is your husband? So those days, we were not supposed to say a husband's name. So Madhavi is asking for husband's name. So Bhama is too shy to say her husband's name. So she gives her clues like see, my husband, he wears a chakra, like Mahavishnu has got a Sudarshana chakra in his hand. So Madhavi asked, okay, the person who wears a chakra, she shows this. He must be a potter. Is that your husband? And she says, no, not that. He wears Makara Kundala. Then Madhavi, okay, the person who wears Makara Kundala. Oh, I got it. He must be that Brahmin who has got a big stomach and always doing pujas. That's right. Then Bhama is again not that. And there's a lot of conversation that happens in between. No, that's to bring the humor. This dance used to happen for 4 nights. So people has to be engaged, right? So a lot of humor is incorporated in this. And I'm not explaining on that, but a lot of Dhwani Siddhanta is also, Dhwani theory is also introduced in this particular portion. And later what happens is Madhavi says, okay Jim, finally tell me your husband's name. The next dance starts with that. Bhama says, in front of all these people, all these men and women, Satyabhama, me, how could I say my husband's name? I'm too shy to do that. And then the next, the next dance starts. So that dialogue goes like this. Kuchipudi is the only dance form where we can use dialogues. Even you can sing while you perform. So this particular dialogue goes like this. Oyamma Madhavi, intoti adavarilu, intati magavarilu, Satyabhama, Anna, Madhavi peru cheppinadante, and she runs and starts, Sikayano, she says, I'm too shy to say my husband's name. From my childhood, I've never said his name. Now you're asking me. And again she says, I can give you clues. Like he's a cowherd, or he's son of Vasudeva, and goes on and on like that. And again she says, I'm too shy. That's the second portion of Bhama Kalapam. From there it continues. The next portion, she's actually remembering their first night and saying that, I had such beautiful moments with him and he forgot me. How can that happen? And it goes very explicitly, she explains everything that happened in her life. And from there she starts, it is too difficult for me to bear this pain. Where is he gone? Madana Daravu, it's called. It's a very famous Daravu in Kuchipudi, where she explains all her pain, how she's suffocated and struggling in this pain where she's separated from her beloved. And then again she sits and writes a letter and sends it with Madhavi and asks Madhavi, you please go and give it to my husband. And Madhavi goes. When Krishna comes, Satyabhama is so sad and she's waiting to see him. The moment he comes, she's again back to her form. Why did you come now? I didn't want to see you. You went to see that Rukmini and you have come now. Enough. You can leave. That's her statement. And she even beats him with her long hair. She's very proud about her long hair, and that has been gifted by Lord Mahavishnu himself. So with this, she actually goes and beats him. Leave now, I don't want to see you. And then Madhavi again interferes and says, my God, what are you doing? This is Jivatma Paramatma Bantha. Please understand that is your husband. And that's the time she realizes and she falls on his feet, yes. And and they be together again, happily ever. So that's the story of Bhama Kalapam, which used to be performed for 4 nights. And the first night, the first day, they use that night only to introduce Bhama. Bhama comes behind a curtain and she actually puts her hair, that huge jada will be put outside and that hair will be explained for hours. And then they show her feet. And in order to tease the audience and bring that suspense, the whole night they will be just explaining Bhama. The next day, Bhama appears and it starts. That's how Kuchipudi Bhagavata Mela Natakam was. And what we have today is 2.5 hours performance, usually. Because that drama tradition has gone. And we diluted it into a very solo art form. That happened just 100 years, 150 years back. Film also has got lots of things to do with this transition. Now what they do is they take each and every piece and perform it separately. Like Bharatanatyam, we also developed a repertoire. I don't know how familiar you are with the repertoire of Bharatanatyam, but different items will be performed. If it's a 2.5 hours performance, we take different pieces. You must have heard about Ashtapati of Gita Govindam. So Gita Govindams are usually performed. Then Tarangam I'll perform after some time. Then Padam, Jadikatta, Shabdam. Lot of these dances are introduced into solo dance form. And before I begin my performance, I want to say a few words about my Guru, Sri Pasumarthy, rattaiah. He is the only one who is living, who can teach Kuchipudi Bhagavata Mela Natakam. Rest of them have gone and nobody practices it and nobody knows the items anymore. He is the only one who is left and who is very strict on the tradition. Because Kuchipudi went through a transition and the whole style was changed. Usually it was kept like this, the hand posture was like this. When the change happened, they stretched it. Like Bharatanatyam, the expressions become huge. Lot of karanas, the postures were used. So the intimacy that was there in the old form was lost. From the village stage went to the proscenium. That's the difference. It's basically that. So my Guru is the only one who strictly follows Kuchipudi Bhagavata Mela Natakam. And the most fortunate thing in my life is meeting him. And that happened after a lot of search. I would say I've been practicing Kuchipudi from the age of 13 or 14, but I met my Guru when I was 29. So it's just 5 years. Literally, I would say it's just 5 years I started learning, because my life also started from there. And when you meet a Guru, when you meet a person like that, not just a dance form, person will go through a lot of change and transition. So my Guru, Sri Pasumarthy rattaiah, I remember him at this point, and I'll begin with a small performance. Actually not a small performance. Usually for a group, like for students, we give 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I have another policy. I would really like to give a 20 minutes piece, which is very difficult to sit through if you don't know the technique. But that's the way you understand the form. In 5 minutes you will not know anything. So I would be performing a Tarangam. Tarangam was a very unique dance in Kuchipudi. You must have seen it. That's the only way people distinguish Kuchipudi from Bharatanatyam, because the dancer dance on a plate. And also Tarangam are the pieces written by Sriman Narayana Tirtha and called Sri Krishna Lila Tarangam. And through this Tarangam, I will be doing the Abhinaya portion of Putana Moksham. In Kuchipudi, we don't have the concept of moksha. It's all killing. But as I am from Kerala, and we have a concept of moksha, so I took it. You are from Kerala, right? Are you from Kerala? Yes. So this Tarangam, I would begin with a Navarasa Abhinaya, where different episodes of Krishna will be explained. Shringaram, when he danced with the Gopikas. Karunyam, when he blesses his Bhaktas. Raudram, when he had to kill Kamsa. Veeram, when he lifted Govardhanan. Like that, different episodes will be shown in a very short form. Then again explaining Krishna, how beautiful he is, the color of his body, everything, like full attire. Then it goes to the Abhinaya piece, Putana Moksham. Here Putana enters as a Rakshasi to Vrindavana, like how a Rakshasi is, with her tongue out and hair open. When she enters, she realizes everybody is scared of me, I should change my form. And she changed into a beautiful woman. Then she walks around. And then she sees that a lot of happens around Vrindavan. And something in her changes. And she joins them. She sees somebody churning the curd, taking the butter. So she joins them to churn the curd, to milk the cow. She also joins them in dancing. And she's very happy. And then she realized, I have come here to kill Krishna. So she goes in search of Krishna. But the moment she sees Krishna, everything vanishes from her. Because it's such a beautiful, small little child lying there. She doesn't want to kill the baby. But she knows that she doesn't have a choice either to kill the baby or Kamsa will come and kill the baby and Putana. So she takes the baby in her hand and she breastfeeds her. What happens is, Krishna, being the God himself, gives her moksha. So in the end, actually she sees God himself there and take her last breath. So that's a Putana Moksha story that we'll be doing. In Indian mythology, we have a lot of stories. There is a backstory to this that I won't be doing. Putana, in her previous Janma, she was a daughter of Mahabali. So what happened is, when Vamana entered, she saw the beautiful boy coming in and she actually wanted to take him in her hand and breastfeed him. So she had that icha, that wish in her mind. But what happens is, Vamana had come to kill Mahabali. But when she came to know that he cheated her father, she had that urge to kill Vamana. So two desires were there. That was, transformed to the next Janma. She got the Janma of Putana. That's why the moment she saw Krishna, that mother instinct in her arise and she breastfeed the baby. But then alas, she had to, then she wanted to kill the baby. She got the moksha. It's a lot of connection to the past and next and my life. So I'll be doing this small piece. Yeah.
Shall I ask something? There is something called Mayura Kautuvam.
That's in Bharatanatyam. We do in Bharatanatyam. We don't have, sorry, in Kuchipudi, we don't have Kautuvam technique at all.
Dance or draw something.
That's different.
That's not part of Kuchipudi.
Actually, it is not. Yeah. What he's asking is, maybe we can go to it in the last segment. Yeah. I can explain it to you. As I said, I actually wanted to introduce with a 20-minute piece and it has everything in it. The Kuchipudi adabu, the Abhinaya technique, the plate portion. Sometimes we use a pot also filled with water and riyas in our hand. And Tarangam is actually a combination of confluence of many things. See the adabu patterns in Kuchipudi, if you look at it, it's very, sorry? No, then I can't move. I'll have to be here. The adabu patterns in Kuchipudi, if you look at, if you watch it closely, it is very, how do I say it? It's light-fitted and very lively. Like we have lines. This is our line, and when we sit, we have to have the curves. Everything is there, but it is not strict like other art forms. It's lot of freedom to improvise and internalize it. See, like in Bharatanatyam, if you see Kritikatharikado comes like this. The same Kritikatharikado in Kuchipudi is Kritikatharikado. It has got lot of upper body movement, and from here it has to be tight. See, whether we are jumping or we are not doing anything, the upper body could move, but from here there shouldn't be any movement. See, this step could be done. But when we do, the strength has to be here. The jump is there, but only upper body is supposed to move. In everything, even the Kritikatharikado or everything, this portion is supposed to move, and here it has to stand. No movements here. But why I am explaining it is because there is a common thought process about Kuchipudi that it is very, they call it very filmy and folk. Some people, when they do it, if you don't have the control to do it, Kritikatharikado will go like this. So then it becomes filmy. But in Kuchipudi, we don't have that. If you have a Tribhuvangi, you just lift one leg. Obviously, your body will curve, but you don't have to do an extra movement to sit in. So, Kuchipudi is not filmy, it's not a folk dance, it's a very pure classical art form. And another reason why people would have thought it is folk is because of its origin. It used to travel from one place to another. A group of Brahmin men used to travel from one village to another, and they used to perform. And sometimes when they have to take the audience in their hand, they use lot of comedy, lot of humor. And you know, the sutradhara, the person who is holding the whole drama, he used lot of humor and imitate people and maybe exaggerate a little more so that the audience will sit there. Only the sutradhara, but the main characters will never do it. And another thing what I have noticed in Kuchipudi is, predominantly in olden days it was done by men. Brahmin men used to dress like women and perform. And that's a perfect example for method acting. And because my master is a very normal looking man. Very normal looking man. If you see him on the road, you will think he's a farmer or some normal person. But when he gets into a character, you should see the change in his face. That face change into Bhama, and each look, the eyes that goes towards a person, that has got everything in it. That's because they observe and learn it. My master has always told me, observe the women around in that village, the Telugu women. Watch them, how they dress, how they pull their sari, how they sit, how they talk. There's a lot of difference. See, me being a Malayali, I'm a Malayali, and the way we express is very different from how a Teluguite or a person from Delhi behaves. So that difference has to come in the performance also. I can't be a Bhama like I am Bhama, because a Malayali Bhama will be like that, very little more sophisticated. But a Telugu Bhama will never be like that. I am Bhama. And have you noticed the structure itself is very huge. Telugu women are huge and broad. And when they explain I am Bhama has to come. Not Bhama. I have noticed this in Kerala. Sorry, different story. When we travel in bus in Kerala, we want to get down at one stop. Usually we have to shout out and say that I have to get down here. Nobody may be listening to us. But usually Malayali women want to do get down. Nobody knows the person who's next to them will hear it. That's the way they shout out. But if it is a Tamil woman or a Telugu woman, they hit on the person, hey, they'll call out and we'll get down there and the bus will stop. Because that's a difference. That's a character difference, right? So when we do when we take an art form also, we have to think about all these characteristics. It is not just you have to learn it. That's exactly what my master told me. How you use your body, your eyes, your language. Learning the language is the first thing. And Telugu is a very lyrical, very sweet, very powerful language. And you can actually sing and say dialogues and perform it. So somehow I'm in love with that art form, so if I start talking about that, we'll never stop. And again, coming back to what Vinu asked about Mayura Kautum, Andhra Pradesh is full of regional art forms. Kuchipudi is different. In Kuchipudi style itself, there is a style that has been followed by Devdasi. Then different sectors do different art forms. Mayura Kautum is temple ritual. So they used to perform a particular sector in Andhra Pradesh. They used to perform this particular dance as a ritual in the temple. The dance form, what Vinu mentioned, who is a friend of mine, what he mentioned is the dancer dance on a huge canvas, a white cloth, and under that there will be color powder. After they finish the dance, when they lift the frame, a picture would have been drawn on that canvas. So sometimes it is a peacock, lotus if it is on Devi Mahalakshmi, then it is a lotus. If it is on Mahakali, then it is a lion. So different, different figures will be drawn on that. Can we finish this and continue? I somehow don't like eating and dancing. So
yeah. आप रख दीजिए पीछे हम ले लेंगे आप पीछे रख दीजिए हम ले लेंगे
I'm sorry. So that's exactly it. So it is not Kuchipudi. Nowadays people call it Kuchipudi because it's from from Andhra Pradesh, but it is not a repertoire. It is not a style in the Kuchipudi repertoire. It is another temple ritual that is done in Andhra Pradesh area. Actually, I really don't know how to continue because I had children in my mind, students. So actually I prepared because if it is a live music, we can improvise and do. I can just do it accordingly, but with limited music that I have, I actually kept a very romantic piece for children.
You can assume that it's more children than that's what I mean. They're more children than children themselves.
Please go ahead.
In Kuchipudi again, Abhinaya is very important, not just from a theatre background. So subtle expression is very, very, very important in Kuchipudi repertoire. So I've taken a Swadhitranath Kriti, which is very common, and you must have heard Chaliye Kunjanamotu. It's in Vrindavani. It's a very famous Kriti of Swadhitranath, which is very nice. Again, a very strong woman asking Krishna, hey, look at beautiful atmosphere. Can't you see that creepers and beautiful meadow and that small place out there? Why don't we go there? And let's have our time and space in that small place. So actually, the Nayika, the heroine, was asking Krishna to follow her to that beautiful place and spend some lonely time there. And on the way, she's actually showing Krishna, see, look at this place, look at Yamuna, it's flowing so beautifully, and the river is rising, so beautiful. Don't you think so? Come, let's go to that small place. Then she hears the birds singing, and she's telling Krishna, listen to them, what are they saying? And then she realized that the birds are talking about them. So she's saying, Krishna, see, listen what they say. It's about us. So everything is in favor of us. So let's go. That's what the lady is saying. Teachers must be thinking, what a poet and what song that she has got. And then she says, listen, even if you leave me and you go behind any number of women, you'll be very strong and steady in my heart. You can run away, but you can never leave from here. That's what she says. And she takes him to that small little place, their private place. So it's Chaliye Kunjanamotu, written by Swadhitranath in Raga Vrindavani. was that piece was to show the Abhinaya portion, which the Abhinaya, that technique that we use in Kuchipudi. Again, there is many common thought process and myths behind Kuchipudi expression. Because men used to do it, they used to exaggerate the expression. They used to make it a little too louder, and instead of doing, they do. Because they want to show it, they want to reach it to the audience. But when it comes to the real good theatre artists, it's never like that. Again, we have seen many levels of artists, but in the original format, there is nothing like that. It is to the core, to the subtle expression. Again, I'm quoting my master. Once I've shared it with a friend of mine, Anwisha. She's a rattaiah dancer. Very, very good rattaiah dancer today. Yeah, I shared it with her. Once I asked myself, how do you do Narasimha Avtara? Because we have always seen Narasimha opening and taking the blood and pulling out everything, and he being so angry and everything. So I just asked him, he was sitting there, he was in a very thoughtful and very good mood. So I asked him, how do you do it? I can't do it, I'm just explaining it to you. Maybe I'll take 50 years to do it. He just said, just big deal about it. He sat there and he put Hiranyakashipu on his lap. He opened. He took the blood. From here I could see he transforming into Narasimha. Then he was drinking the blood. He covered his face half. Just half. So you could see with his eyes. He's drinking that blood, and you could see that sometimes, you can't even explain that. It is not Rakshasiya bhava, but it is that feeling of transforming. But in Kudiyatam, Kathakali and Kudiyatam, we use our eyes to do it, show the drinking process. In Kuchipudi, we don't do it. We don't use eyes that much. It's very subtle. But I still have no clue how he did it. He just covered his face, and with eyes, just with his look, he drank the blood, and by the time he took his hands off, he was transformed into Shanta Narasimha. That is the technique and that is the practice they used to do. And very rare people today have got that technique and practice. Kuchipudi is a very strict art form. I've heard from a master that they used to start their practice 3:30, 4 in the morning until 9 o'clock. They have this exercises. They don't go to school. That's another thing. They have their breakfast, come back and do it again. So that's how they used to train. My master is 75. I already developed a knee pain and back pain and all. He doesn't have any problem because that's the training they had then. You prepare your body, you prepare your mind, and you enter into the character. You dissect the character and understand what it is. It is not just all the characters are the same. It's all different. So why I said this is because the subtle expression and the drama that is brought into Kuchipudi is very different. You can use your body. If you want to show Hiranyakashipu, you can do this, and you can stand and you can do everything, and you can shout, you can call out names, you can do everything in Kuchipudi. But when it comes to Bharatanatyam or other art forms, you don't have that freedom. Because it's from Satriya has got that freedom of, because it's again from a theatre background. Theatre background to it. So, now I think we can make it very interactive. Now if you have any doubts, any questions, you can ask and maybe I can take from there. Yeah? Anything? And if I don't, I'll answer. So that's fine, yeah, this too I did.
I was curious when you said that moksha is usually not an concept that is used in Kuchipudi, but used when properly.
Yes. In Kuchipudi, it is, my master taught me that. But some things you can't perform these days. And men used to perform. So what he taught me is, Putana dies and she falls flat on the floor and she actually struggled. So a man falling on the stage and struggling and all is okay, but as a woman, if I fall on the stage and I feel very, I'm not very comfortable falling on the stage. It's because there's a gender difference. Men used to do it and they have a different way of doing it. So some slight changes we have to adapt because gender issues. Yeah, these two items were my difference.
And this incorporation, you would say, is down to the flexibility of the Kuchipudi form, or you think, you were also suggesting that Kuchipudi as compared to, say, Bharatanatyam is somewhat flexible.
It is flexible. Yeah. How do I explain it? See, in Bharatanatyam the walks are basically, but when it comes to Kuchipudi, it's more like a, the movements, the leaps, everything is different. Your body movement, these kind of movements can't be seen in Bharatanatyam. It's just in Bharatanatyam, in Bharatanatyam. But in Kuchipudi, everything changes. Bharatanatyam will be very easy. When it comes to Kuchipudi is the only art form where all the three elements are properly combined. Nritta, Natya. Nritta, Natya, and one more half. Nritta. Three elements are properly combined.
What's the third one?
Sorry?
What's the third one?
Nritta. Nritta is the proper technique. The Adavu patterns in dance form, like just the hand movements and the leg movements. That pure dance form is Nritta. And Natya is a theatre, the acting. And Nritya is a combination of both, Nritta and Natya. So in Kuchipudi we have Shabdam and Bharatanatyam also, but in Kuchipudi we have everything together. In every dance form you can see all this together. It's a combination of everything. And the four Abhinaya patterns, what we mentioned, Angika, Vachika, Aharya and Satvika. All the four Abhinaya patterns is also in Kuchipudi. But Angika is you can actually adorn the costume or get into the get-up of a character. Then Aharya Abhinaya and Angika Abhinaya is the gestures that we use. Vachika Abhinaya, again the dialogues and the speech and the songs. The dancer can sing and say the dialogues while they perform. Vachika Abhinaya is very important. That's also incorporated in Kuchipudi. And Satvika Abhinaya is the emotional response that you create. Did you understand that last question, Satvika Abhinaya? Emotional response in the sense, how do I explain? Theatre students will know. When you, forget theatre students. When we have some problem, when we have some, we are depressed and we are controlling our, agony. You're controlling our pain and cry. You actually develop a pain here, right? Because you're holding back. Did anybody experience this? Yeah, because you are holding back that pain and agony, and that accumulates here. So you develop a pain here, and may turn red. Sorry? Yeah. And sometimes when you are scared, when you see something, your heart beat rates, right? Heart rate rates. Those things are the emotional response. Like in dance again, when we do some particular Abhinaya pieces, that emotional response arises in us. And the same emotional response would arise in the audience also. Then it is a rasa. So that is Satvika Abhinaya, which is very, very important in any art form. That's the way you connect to yourself and you connect with the audience. And when the audience and the actor is connected, that is where the elevation happens. There's a shloka in Natya Shastram, Rashtram Pravartadam Chaiva, Rangascham Sampradhana, Preksham Kartru Mahadharmo, Bhavatu Brahma Bhavita. It says that Rashtram Pravartadam Chaiva, let the country prosper, let the persons, the producers of art form prosper, and not just that, let the audience, the Rasika, who are watching the art form, attain moksha watching it. So art form is, in any dance form, in any art form, is not just for entertainment. It is in different plane. In Natyashastra, it's very clearly written who should be the audience also. Not just the dancer or the creator, but who should be the audience, who should be the producer. An audience should be a person who should be able to connect to others' emotion. If you come here and say, okay, let's see what she's doing. What's the point? I'll be doing everything here. No. That's not an audience at all. You should be able to connect to what the other person is saying and feel it. So that's a kind of correct Rasika or Sampradaya. From where to where? What did you ask in myself? So all the different kinds of Abhinaya, 3 types of dance, everything is incorporated in Kuchipudi. That's why I said it's more flexible and it's a huge canvas where we can bring out anything. We can draw anything on it. Anything else?
Linking it up to that, we're talking about various art forms being incorporated when you try to talk about it. I have this very technical clarification because you're talking about theatre. I know that most of the dance from southern India have it's your center of gravity in the body is located at the end of your spine.
Yes.
You know, that's where you're rooted.
The core.
Yeah. So what about Kuchipudi? When you're talking about different kind of movements, do you make your body feel a bit lighter? You know, you're doing that that dish movement. So is there a possibility where the center of gravity shifts? Because in theatre we do shift. You know, the center of gravity shifts at times because you try and balance your body, do various gestures. So is there a possibility? I don't know. This is just a clarification.
No, I need clarification regarding that. When you shift your energy zone, is it in Abhinaya or when you do your body movements?
I think generally it's body movement, yeah.
Like, but
The balance, I'm asking where the balance is in your body.
see, this is the strongest portion. Core is the strongest portion. So whatever exercises, everything we do is to strengthen our core. So, and after a point, we don't actually think about it.
No,
But
that's
yeah.
at the training level. I'm
Training
asking that
level, yeah,
how you
training
being
level
trained
is this.
because Kathakali you will be that will be straightened. You know,
Yes.
over the years you
This is the
need to do
posture.
this.
This is the posture.
Yeah.
We sit and we learn in this posture. And everything, even the Murmandi, Aramandi, Sama, everything should go and balancing here. Even the Skala Samu, what we do, everything is stretching.
So here
Everything is from here.
the energy is rooted. You take it from the ground. It's rooted.
Yes. When whatever you do, this portion is still
That has to be. So it's straight.
straight.
And this core thing is common in all dances,
What?
right? This core, strengthening of core is common between
That's actually
Bharatanatyam and everything.
everything. This has to be for Kuriyatam artists. I have heard they from morning 4 in the morning till 7, they'll be standing like this and chanting the shloka. They won't even get up. They'll sit like this. That's to get that posture right and get a practice of it.
Yeah.
Strengthening the
No, I
core is
understand that because most of the dance forms here in India at least go by this logic. You have the other kind of dance would be ballet, for example, where it's upward movement. It's not rooted. It's not a different direction. But there you have more of theatricality coming. But because you're suggesting that Kuchipudi is a bit different from the other dance
When it
form,
comes to the Abhinaya portion,
It's
everything is
like
all
yeah.
it's all different.
Yes.
But when we do the Nritta portion, it has to be.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have a very general question. I am not a student of anything.
Related to this.
I'm a psychology student. But when you said the audience, like there's something that's expected of the audience as well. Something can connect. So that's what I can say that I am in dance. And you can connect to it. And I think I have a big desire to be a dancer.
To be a dancer.
It's just a desire.
Desire. Yes.
But I've never been able to
Very often learn it.
and there's too much of hesitation and all of that. So for somebody like me, what would you say?
I didn't understand actually. What would I say in the sense?
In the sense that somebody who really would like to be able to dance. Not to become any great dancer, but just to connect to
Art form. To dance.
opening up, connecting to your own body and to
You mean to say that you want to learn, you love dancing and you have a desire to dance, at the same time you have a hesitance and you resist it with your body? Or emotionally or physically?
emotionally, I would say that I have a desire, but when it comes to actually doing this,
So you're not opening up, I know your body is not opening up towards it.
so how would somebody like me be able to actually?
Have you tried dancing actually?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's two different things. We have a desire to do, and desire is different, and performance and to perform. I'm sorry to say this, to perform it is different. Yesterday I was talking about this. If you can't open your body, like like a proper dancer and performer, there is different category. Like dance is also a process. So you can actually dwell into the Abhinaya portion of it. There are beautiful padams and beautiful Abhinaya portions in dance, so which you can explore on that area with limited body movements. So you can learn the basics. So slowly with the Abhinaya pattern you will open your body also. And another thing, I'm being very technical here, okay? If you want to learn dance in some point of your life, other thing I would suggest is to do stretches. Properly do stretches and yoga, or just jump, and it's basically because you didn't do much of running around and jumping in your childhood, or you didn't do much of action, or maybe at some point you stopped it. So if you stretch and do lot of yoga or stretching, then slowly your body also will start reacting to it. That's I seriously, this is becoming a psychological session. Sorry?
If I can just extend this, also, I'm also a psychologist. I think I feel that there is something there in that question, as we also work as a therapist, and I think it's also somewhere to ask that what does it take for a body to become that open, as in you don't get conscious by the environment and the surrounding and the audience, but that you can become one with it. I think that somewhere the question is also asking that. What does it
That's
take?
the body resistance that you have. For that, you have a lot of techniques. Slowly you develop it. It's somewhere, some people have you gather all your problems here. Some they have it here, some on their hips, some on their legs. So you will have to point out and figure out where exactly it is. Because now, the way we are talking, the way I see it now, you will have to recognize where exactly the problem is, and then give exercises and patterns to break that particular pattern. I don't know.
Probably what they're asking is also, are there some kind of workshops
There are.
for people who have certain inhibitions about their body?
The best, actually you're in Delhi, and the best place to go is the Guru Sri Pasumarthy workshop, because it's very clearly mentioned like how your body takes all these different pressures and how you close down. So actually dance is opening up. See, this is my space. This is my space, and I enjoy my freedom. I enjoy, and I would say you are seeing the true me. After that point, I can be very pretentious. But whatever you are, it is here. So this is a space I create in dance. When you dance, or to know your body, there's a lot of techniques and a lot of opening up to do.
I would add something. When you suggest something like a workshop for that's okay.
No, please.
The question that you're asking, I think, is more related to the factor of riyaz. I think the practice and the amount of time and the investment in sweat and blood that a dancer puts in practice, I think that's where this kind of connection is able to develop. But the kind of workshops that have been suggested here by Tripura Kashyap and all, I think that kind of opens your body to being aware of the self. But I realize as a dancer myself, I mean, connecting through Abhinaya is very, very difficult. I mean, that will not be achieved through Tripura Kashyap's
No,
workshop.
that you can't.
That is Riyaz. So that kind of connection will require years and years of training and practice. But to be aware of the body in terms of its movement, because we walk in a straight line, we walk and do things in very codified manners. To be aware of those things, I think the workshop can suffice for that. That is something. This is something else.
Sreelakshmi, first of all, and thank you very much for coming here and performing. You're a wonderful dancer. It's so refreshing to see somebody perform such a command in what they actually do and what they really do. When they do something, they actually know what they're doing. Especially if you do give very little and talk a lot, and you really know what you're doing. That's great. My question is actually, these days people try to move away from tradition. I myself, I'm not a traditionalist. I have, I'm not a traditionalist, and dancers, artists who try to move away from tradition. The problem with the tradition I found is something like you were performing, and you said at one point of time when Rama was falling the feet of Krishna, you stopped. And that must have coming from you as a young woman, a contemporary woman. You understand, you have a problem of falling the feet of Krishna. But you do that as a Kuchipudi dancer. And I thought that would be the reason why maybe people would like to move away, because you cannot actually look into traditional form without, in the context of religion or the belief system altogether, because there's a baggage coming all together to you. So how do you actually deal with it?
Tradition?
Yeah, as a dancer, when you perform your traditional form, but at the same time you have a different life altogether, different view, different perspective of your life. You can tell them all the time. So how do you deal with it?
I would like to add to that question. I mean, I find it so difficult to kind of relate to that kind of, man-woman relationship. Even that is so obsolete, as far as contemporary life is concerned. So you can probably relate to it only if you learn that, it's art, it is pure technique, it is pure something, and also you relate it to as something of the past. I mean, so I keep wondering, also. But I mean, I actually relate to it. I've learned dance myself to know how they do it, and that makes me, enjoy it more. But I know that I'm not part of it. I keep
when I actually saw that bit, and when you were talking about how much it's Krishna with, and she's waiting and she's like, usually in there's so many songs and it's a preserve of women to sort of wait, the waiting woman, so there's a power there, where men make women wait. Okay, and then she comes, and the power play I found it really delightful when he comes in, and then she's like, she's acting as though she doesn't want him, and then she actually hits him and stuff, and then somebody's saying he's your husband, okay? And then she's like, oh yeah, he's my husband. This is how I saw it, not so much as, so I thought it was actually questioning that kind of.
actually thinking in terms of those nayikas, it's so difficult to kind of relate to the contemporary life. I mean, those feelings, I mean, that's my experience. That way I relate to somebody like Chandralekha, who says that at that moment of doing it, she developed a doubt and she rejected it. She's trained as a Bharatanatyam dancer, but she could not anymore relate to it. I mean, that's somewhat my experience also.
Yeah, I understand that. Should I use this? Questioning the power, right? So it depends on how we interpret the lines actually given to us, and at the same time, I'm considering Chandrelekha's work. So at times when we concentrate on our form, and the form itself becomes a wrong language, and we try to move beyond that form. And at times I can pick up any issue, maybe not in the form of such way I can represent that, but maybe something related to contemporary issues. And then I use the form as my language itself and present it to you. So I think regarding Srimati's work, it is something of that sort, moving beyond, it's using the entire body and entire form as kind of language. And so far as the character and the lines are concerned, it depends on individual interpretations, how you see beyond the lines and the words. So I think that's how I see. I do agree with Mamta. I saw power in that character. She's a powerful woman. How dare you? Why are you here? Get lost. I don't want you. It's such a powerful character. But again, someone is coming in between. Hey, listen, you're not supposed to do this. He's your husband. So it's actually a wonderful interpretation. So yeah, we can play with these kind of interpretations.
I'm going back to the question that you asked, because I'm not talking about politics of the whole thing. I have two different points of view. One is when I'm doing Bhama Kala, I'm not Sreelakshmi, and the thought process is not Sreelakshmi. So it's a total different. Bhama is a different character. So the way she behaves and the way she thinks and the way it is portrayed is different. So I'm not supposed to judge that one. So I am becoming that character what it is supposed to be. See, so sometimes if I am playing a wife who's being beaten up by a husband every day, as a person I wouldn't take it. But if I am acting a role, that's different. So it's an act. So I don't have a problem connecting to it. But if I am choreographing something, obviously this will not be there. As I said, like how I changed Putana's death into Putana's moksha. Because that is my interpretation. When I am choreographing it, my interpretations come in. But when I take a character, I stick to that character. What that character is. And when I explain it, yes, of course I laugh. She falls on Krishna's seat and I find it very funny. But the moment I get into the dance and start performing it, that will not come. Yeah, because that's a character. That's a character. And Bhama is like that. It has been very well explained. Bhama is a very fickle character. She can be very angry. She can be very shy. She can be so many things. You take the character of Sita. We always explain Sita as a very pious, very soft lady. But if you read Ramayana properly, she is not like that. She is the one who protested. She is the one who wanted Mayamrigam. She's like, oh, so beautiful, I want it. She didn't say that, oh, it's such a beautiful one, can I have it? No, I wanted it so beautiful, look at the way it is running around. So that's again a different character. You have to dissect and you have to learn the character and then do it. Then I don't think it is a problem. Because my conscience is not coming in there.
No, but it's just not character. There's whole baggage of bringing in a traditional form and your contemporary self. It's just not character and politics of the character.
For me, I've never felt it that way. I never felt it like, the tradition is. I wanted to learn it. I wanted to know the roots, and so it was such a, I was so eager to know it, and I searched and searched and searched for years to find a person who can tell me what it is. And knowing tradition is also important, like how it was then and how it was done. And then, you have your own characters and you have your own perspective, and that you can do it in your own production. The productions that I do now is totally different from the traditional items. So traditions, I keep it separate and my work is separate.
Is this problem?
So I was thinking about this holding on to the feet and that humiliation of the I was thinking in similar terms about a son-and relationship, like slave and master relationships, where the master might ask you to lick the feet or lick the shoes or do certain kind of humiliating kind of roles. But the relationship ships are mostly like both the parties are engaging into the game and making the rules and then surrendering to the other and doing certain kind of things. Where the master is actually the more vulnerable one than the slave. The master has to take care of the slave. So I'm just talking about another kind of relationship that is consensual, kind of completely consensual. Both parties agrees into getting like, I do this and you do this. Like, we always be like equal. Other kind of democratic relationships can be possible. Just thinking in.
I don't know how this is comparable, but it is possibly comparable in certain ways because we have to think about various relationships, various formats of relationship. So, I mean, both these probably work in real term, in real life.
And it may not be like that in the
without actually questioning those formats, I would like to kind of raise the question to the level of art, in the sense that, so what do we do is, what are we actually doing is that we have somehow historically reclaimed these art forms like Bharatanatyam or Mohiniyattam. We gave it to kind of Kuchipudi, gave it a kind of a contemporary, acceptable format. It's not Bhagavat Mela Natak anymore. It is actually Eka last year, which women are doing, and so there are certain things that women can accept, or there is a certain notion about that Shastric and all that. So it has been somewhat canonized, from a kind of an ongoing process of changes that have been happening. That has happened more obviously with Bharatanatyam because it is probably the oldest tradition of revival, and personalities like Rupini Devi, and there was also this problem about legality about it, and there is this institution of so as a result it has become so ossified, so stiff, and so it is like that only, so it has happened to all these forms, so if Bhama Kalabam is to be done, it has to be done in that way only. It has become items, so that becomes so stifling in a way. I mean, to a certain extent, why audience is less for classical form is also because it is so, I enjoy it each time I see it. That is, of course, I'm tuned to that, I know this is so and so, I know how that is done, so I enjoy it being repeated. But there is that very dangerous thing about it, it doesn't allow it to move.
This is not actually
that's so dangerous.
The racial form of it is allowed to move much around. You have to stick with what the form is, right? You said you can interpret it, but still, that's still rigid, right? In a more contemporary form, for example, if I don't like to be with it, I'm a performance maker. So I always have a problem if I have a material text in my hand, and if I cannot go with that text because something politically is not wrong, only the text hand. So I have to reinterpret it. I have to redo it, restructure it, the way I think, the way I understand it. So I'm asking, is this possible in a traditional form?
Or is it necessary?
Or is it necessary? All the time, as Shivaji said, I have no problem with watching a traditional form. I always enjoy when I see it. Not because of the politics of that performance, because of the craft, because of the command,
the dedication,
because
the dedication.
It's so perfect, it's so good, and actually, so it doesn't really anything else is sort of bad. I can still watch it, I can watch to Kalabadam movie many times, though we know that he's going to die and it takes this much of time to die, but it doesn't matter. We all know story, but the way he moved that, there is nothing politics about it. It's just the death of the body. But so we can watch it that way. But I don't know when we somebody who are and understand about the politics and everything. When again you continue to do this kind of very traditional form, which very kind of a form which cannot allow you to move from that restricted boundaries. When is there a problem for a modern dancer That's my question was. Or is it okay, you do it because you like the skill, you like the perfection of it, you can put everything aside and you can still enjoy doing that.
See, I take this from different things. It's a different era. And this Dhamakalasam, people have changed it actually. Vempati Chinnasatyam sir, he's the one who modernized Kuchipudi. So when he modernized Kuchipudi, he changed the format. He took the dialogues out of it. He took the some elements out of it, and he made it very, presentable to that particular age. I mean that period. That's a perception. But for me, I don't want to change it. I don't want to change it because it's such a beautiful text and it's very beautifully crafted from the beginning till the end. The character sketch is so beautiful. So whether you accept it, whether it is your thought process, nothing like that. It gives a freedom. It gives for example, I find it very interesting, and I'm so happy you felt that last portion like I don't know the terms that you use, but I understood the whole concept. That's actually a rasa created. Different perception. Each one of you have different perception about it. See, this freedom is there when you watch it. Even you have the freedom to question it. So that's also nice, right? And why do we touch that traditional piece, which is so beautifully done, which is the premier piece in Kuchipudi, and whether I follow it and I don't have any problem regarding it. But when I do a contemporary piece, this will not be the same. But I don't have a problem connecting with that particular piece because it's so beautifully crafted. So beautifully crafted. Each and every piece has got different emotion connected to it. And Bhama is a very powerful lady. I just mentioned that story, but if you look at it, she's a very powerful lady and she knows how to handle things. She knows her way. So I love that whole concept of Bhama. And you just imagine it has been written in 14th century, where women were not allowed to dance. We had a very strong character called Bhama. The next item, the next main production in Kuchipudi was Golla Kalapa, where a Brahmin had a conversation with a milkmaid. And the milkmaid taught Brahmin, nobody is a Brahmin by birth. You are Shudra only. With, how you grow older, you learn the wisdom, you get the wisdom and you reach to a Brahminical level. It's a very philosophical art form again, dance form again. So, I don't question that. And I don't have a problem understanding or following it. I see it as a different thing. And if you change it, lose it. It is so stiff and we have lost it. And if you change that and if you forget that, then it is. I know that you have to evolve, but it's good to have the old things also attached.
That's right. Do you feel repetition?
No, Bhama Kalapam I don't feel repetitive because each time as a woman I find different meaning to it and different patterns coming to it. So I don't find Bhama Kalapam repetitive at all.
No, each time it's such a delight. Especially it's a man piece. Then the whole, not I asked men. But my teacher used to say, look at this man, he can actually pretend, he can act so much like a woman. So much more, even women used to feel such a essence. That much of artistry, that much of transformation of that. But otherwise, ordinarily, they are like very boring men. No, I'm not so easy about it. But how would you compare Kathak?
Kathak is totally different style. Kuchipudi is from South Africa and Kathak is from North. But the only thing that connects Kathak and Kuchipudi is the Vachikatya, and both were storytelling. Kathak also had storytelling as part of their art form, which we don't see at all now. See, Kathak, we just see the foot movement now. But initially it was storytelling. Like in Kuchipudi, it was all about storytelling. We just see a dance form now.
It doesn't exist at all. The Kuchipudi that used to run for nights together. No, not at all.
Very few. See the young boys from Kuchipudi village, they know the art form, but they don't have it. You know, to do it the whole night and.
Unlike say Kathakali where Nalacharitra is performed for 3 nights.
Because Kuchipudi was completely transformed, you know. It was totally changed when it was made into a solo dance form. It was totally changed. So we lost it.
But was it a good dance?
It is. It's a dance drama technique. Yakshagana. See, that's why I said my master is the last one to take it. He can sit and sing and dance.
I have a question to the historiographical section. When were women dances introduced into this?
When is around like
Women dances started performing
around like 150, 200 years back. 150 years back.
200 years back. So it was
150,
late
say
colonialism.
150. Sorry?
Around 98.
Yeah, when the Devdasi dance culture was very strong, Kuchipudi gurus, they started going out and teaching them, and also film also.
But now
it's
you don't
not
have, but men dances are there. They
Men
perform
dances, yeah.
regularly.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm trying to relate it to, you know about Nangya Tuttu,
Nami.
which is a reaction to the mainstream, Madhuchakya, and there's this whole tradition, and it is a reaction to that particular tradition. So, is there some kind of a possibility here in Kuchipudi, or that kind of movement has not happened?
Nothing. It's the same form, women started dancing the same. Like what Amaglabam was done by men and
Nangya is also very same, but there's a
Exactly the same.
whole
We are done-
thought
Nangya is-
process that we were not part of the mainstream, so we would try and create that. Nangya,
Nothing like that. It's not like
it's
that.
not there.
Modern aspect of bargaavee last.
As a psychologist, I don't know how interesting this might be to others, but another interpretation, another association that I have always is when you were talking about Mutana, and Mutana, she feels like watching Krishna, she feels at once both a desire to maternal love, at the same time like a desire to kill him also. And I was thinking, I don't even think that is particularly demonic. I actually think that the urge to kill your child is a very common sentiment that many women go through. I think caring for another is self-annihilatory like nothing else, and it fills you with a violence like nothing else. And so we have a postpartum psychology sort of a question of apologizing and makes the good woman and sort of kills away those resistances as I almost see it and pathologizes it. So I find it interesting that in Mutana, I think in this dance form, it was put into this demon woman. I wish Yashoda had this urge to go kill Krishna.
No, here the desire is because she's a woman. The desire to kill is because she's a Rakshasi.
No, I'm saying
The desire to nurture is because she's a mother. She's a woman.
No, the desire is not very natural.
Postpartum blues.
she has this
Birth repeats.
No, but postpartum, I don't want that to hear.
postpartum blues. I think that is pathologizing it. I think it is because of this caring that which is invested upon women, caring for another, which only women. It's not like a happy time. You feel loving and nice. It's an unhappy, wretched time. It has its wretched parts which we don't hear about. This desire to kill children, which many women go through. You don't have to pathologize. So I found that you want to nice.
Very good. Reflection has come out in this desire to kill.
Yeah. I mean, psychoanalytically, you're allowed to bring those
But then this concept of motherhood, that was a time.
I see.
Very interesting.
I see. So psychoanalysis allows for that kind of bringing together of these very contradictory emotions towards the other, towards your child. Traditional forms of psychology sort of brackets the way it calls it.
We're not allowed to.
But I really don't know how you connect it here, Manju. I really don't know how you connect it here. It is in the postpartum group. Definitely not here. But in that case, she doesn't have the urge to kill the baby. She comes and it was her duty to kill the baby. But when she sees the baby, she doesn't want to kill. She really doesn't want to. She wants to feed him, and she didn't want to do it. She wants to leave. But she knows that there is no choice. Either she has to kill or Kamsa will come and kill the baby, and also her.
in the previous life or something she has.
Yeah, previous life it's different.
Right,
Why she had the urge to
yeah.
kill Vamana was because Vamana cheated her father.
I know.
So that's
no,
why.
it's interesting.
Yeah, it's
I think it's
different.
other things coming in also.
Yeah.
The other thing what yeah, what Aryan was saying about power, and the flow of it between the master and the slave, and I think what Karma, when you said like Karma, she really knows how to handle it. I think she's like something called topic from the bottom of BDSM. And I don't think it is as divorced from real life, man-woman interactions as we think it is. I think it is. I understand that there are limits to those comparisons, but I think very often between the passionately dominant man, there is like a really strong woman who controls from the bottom. You see it in so many relationships.
If you read all the texts, especially in the Govardhanan, or when you read the dialogues between Krishna and other Gopikas and different nayakas, this feminism is very strong in a different way. It has been interpreted in texts, and it was very normal and natural thing displayed. Yes. It's light. Yeah, you can see it in that way also. It's light.
The problem with this, with that pattern is that it is very feudal. It obviously places man's role in a higher place. Then you identified it with Krishna, Vishnu, whatever.
Yeah.
But obviously the power positions are so, she may have her techniques to kind of hold him and control him and all that. But it's a very feudal system.
Techniques are always seen as devious or something negative.
उसको सब चाल आता है.
It also becomes a deceit kind of thing where it's not seen as a powerful technique.
Sure, there are these spaces of resistances, and there are these. It's not as easy as the man powerful and the woman not powerful. I'm in no way saying that at the end of the day there are very material, very real consequences to this, this performativity of gender. So I'm not questioning that. I'm just acknowledging complexities of it.
Yeah, you were talking something about Kathak.
Yeah, he just asked me this.
I found some
Louder, please.
about some similarities that I found in Kathak, and that I really have not seen a Kuchipudi dance so descriptively.
Similarity in what technique or
Not in technique, but some elements when she tells about the Abhinaya.
Yes, that's what I said.
Even the Banaras Gharana Kathak uses the thal.
Oh, really?
Yes. Some of the country are doing that. They say that it's
On plate?
Yes.
some Rajasthani dances? So that's
Yeah,
also-
it has that kind of, Kathak has that kind of, as you say, it was from Yakshagana it came to the proscenimite kind of form. In Kathak it has that Vajan, Kathakars and all those. So I found those similarities, but you saying something like only footwork is to be seen.
No, what I said is nowadays, like how Kuchipudi is Ekahaya now, like Kuchipudi lost the drama and Vachika Abhinaya in the olden form, like Kathak. Now, if we see a Kathak performance, it's more like they'll go to one side and say the bowls and come back and do it. It becomes, it has reduced into that. I'm not saying that it's they broadened into something, but they have reduced the whole thing into something else. Yeah, like how Kuchipudi reduced.
Again, one mistake, isn't there a song about Kunjiko Chalo Chalo?
Chaliye Kunj Bhi More.
That had the wordings were very.
It's Bhojpuri.
Yes. So could understand that there are those. It's not completely Telugu.
No, it's not Telugu. It's a Bhojpuri Kriti written by Srimati Vyjayanti. I took it because lot of people would understand it better.
Hindustani. That's Hindi. That's
Bhojpuri.
Pakistan of Kanpuri to write in various languages.
So how does dance make you understand the world and your life and yourself?
Okay, dance make me understand.
The world, like the way you
You
look
want to
at the
listen to
world.
her question? Can you hear that?
How does dance sort of help you look at the world and understand it, and also look at yourself and like parts of yourself?
Would you allow me to add a question to you directly?
Maybe it's a question in different words.
I got it.
I was also saying, in our contemporary art practices, generally the aim is to reflect upon something, whether mostly it's political and
How dance affects me and how it helps me to see the world.
But yeah, I'm asking in a different way, that if you are doing something which has its form and content decided, what's this space of reflectivity there for you?
Actually, I don't understand your
This
question.
question.
Maybe you can just answer this question.
See, it's very personal. As I said, I was in a different profession and I tried many different things. But when it comes to dance, this is the place where I can go deep into myself and understand things. For example, see, the way you look at the world, the way you look at a person, the way you read a book, everything changes. Because it is not a very superficial thing. See, I see each and every tree and flower and fruit and sand and birds and everything around. I'm very sensitive to the voice because these things matter to me. When I read Gita Govardhanan, when I express something, all these things comes back to me. Or when I read something, actually I can imagine all these things. So for me, it's a very colorful world around. See, even if somebody is going through a problem, that's one reason I left psychology in clinic. Being an artist, it's very difficult. I can't stop imagining. If somebody is saying that they are going through a lot of trouble, I actually imagine I see it here and I go through that pain. Why do I do that? And it is very difficult then to continue a case. It's very difficult. So, for me with dance, I don't say that I see worlds differently. I find it very beautiful. And I'm very peaceful when it comes to dance, when I'm practicing, when I'm thinking about it. There's a lot of energy, a lot of happiness, a lot of positivity. Life is more beautiful, right?
Do you also see more complexities in emotions? Like,
yeah, we do that.
Considering each emotion is sort of expressed in so many different ways.
We see it on a different level. Like, a Shringaram itself, we can see it on a different levels. If you're talking to a person, again, you will realize in what way you're talking to them. What is the level of flirtatiousness that you have with that person is also, you can understand that itself. Because you interact or you understand from a different level. That becomes a practice in you.
So you'd say it would also make you more empathetic as a person in terms of...
Yes. I feel that not just a dancer becomes more empathetic, but a good sahridaya, a good rasika is also very empathetic.
Good rasika?
Rasika. Like, rasika is the audience. Person who can connect to a person. I put it another way again. A person who can empathize, a person who can connect to other person very well can be a better dancer or a better artist. Not a dancer becomes that. That's what I feel. Both ways, but I feel the other way.
I just wanted to say something about the other thing we were talking about in terms of contemporizing things, and everyone is talking about like man-woman equations. But one thing that perhaps stems from taking traditional narratives is also like to point out, say, the river, and that sort of experience of being in the mountains or being next to the river or seeing butterflies, and so one could not connect to that. But I think if that had to be completely removed, that experience is something I would miss out on. So even though there would, I think it's grays, I mean there would be the blacks and whites, but I think there's also the grays of just nature. Because I think the way nature is expressed, I don't think perhaps somebody would be able to understand it, that kind of love.
So I have something to connect these two things and add probably, is that these are systems, you see, whether it is dance, whichever form, Indian form that I can relate to, or say music, for instance. These are systems that you make your life. I mean, there is nothing like, oh, I'm a part-time dancer, or I'm a part-time singer. You are fully involved in it. You have to give yourself completely into it, right? So with that actually at different stages, this mic is not working. At different stages, you have different connectivity to it. You know, as a dancer who has reached 60 or 60, 70, the way you relate to your dances could be very different from when you start in your 13 or 12 or something. You see, I mean, at all stages it works magically on you. I mean, a dancer or a singer is the most blessed person on the earth, I would say. I mean, I share little bit of that delight, you know, that a dancer derives from 3-hour performance or 3.5-hour performance. My teacher used to perform 75 minutes continuously even after he was 75 years old. I mean, body completely transforms itself. You know, the pleasure that comes to that a dance, only a dancer can understand that. I mean, so that's how you relate to life. I wouldn't say world, but that's how you relate to life. Through that extremely valuable, you know, experience that you gain.
So actually, what he said, you know, you perform for 2.5 hours, 3 hours. People think that, you know, people keep asking me, how do you do that? You get tired. You can't imagine after that 2.5, 3 hours program, you will be shivering with energy. You don't feel like eating, you don't want anything. Maybe you get some sweets, you can have that because it's high in energy. Each and every cell will be shivering.
That is probably what actually they call a spiritual experience. They had a word called spiritual experience. When I used to train myself, after half an hour I used to feel tired, so I used to want to sit down. My teacher would not allow me to sit down. That's the time you should dance more, he would say. So that you know, kind of change over, you kind of move over from that tiredness into something more blissful, something more, you know, where you connect your body in a totally different way. You know? I mean, that's something very special for a dancer. I think that's a good
last question. Yeah, very simple.
I think that's a good way of ending it. But please, yeah.
I mean, essentially, we're moving to contemporary practices, and you know, so I mean, whatever you have encountered with contemporary art practices, can you give us some advices and suggestions as to what we can take from in terms of learning art, what we can borrow or learn from traditional art?
See, what
innovation is good for that.
Innovation is good.
No, I may not be necessarily talking about innovation, but
I'll come to both. What he asked me is like whether what you learn from the tradition, how you take tradition ahead and use it in a contemporary.
Or contemporary people can learn from
tradition. See, what I feel is, I've learned under many gurus, and I learned more when I started learning under my guru, because he's very traditional. If you're very rooted and if you learn in the proper way, that gives you the balance or the platform to improvise also. So till then, I didn't have the confidence to choreograph or to bring out my emotions on stage. But with that tradition, with that, you know, logic and training, that gave me a confidence to do my work. So there is some, I don't know how to explain, like, it's like a seed you plant and how it grows. So the root has to be very strong. So I think tradition is the best thing, like, you know, the roots, you learn the technique and everything properly, then you develop on it. You can't create anything on the air. You'll have to have something there. So innovation is good, and how you innovate it, that depends on how you innovate it. I don't suggest on changing the art form completely, changing the costume, changing the song, I don't believe in that.
If we do that, it's not really a traditional form anymore.
Sorry?
If we do that, then it's not anymore a Kuchipudi.
It is not a Kuchipudi, yes.
It's something else.
It's something else, yeah. So you should have the roots very strong. See, why I'm saying this is because, again, I'm going back to my master. I got it from him. Whatever he says, he has got conviction. He is a contemporary artist if you think that way. He has evolved. He's not like the, like 150 years back, how they used to do it. No, it's not like that. Whatever he does, he has got a logic to it. Today, now, when they do it, they do you. They do, if you want to put some flowers, they do like this. They do, and this. My master said, why do you have to do this? If you want to show somebody, show that. It is from here to there. If you want to put flower, put the flower from your heart to the other person. It's like how you do namaskaram, it's from this soul to the other. You don't have to bring this. This is actually contemporary, where you lost the logic. But this is actually very traditional, which is heart to heart. When you learn this properly, you will be able to bring your concept also in a very strong way. You won't, alter. You won't go here and there. You will be very clear on what you do. That's what I feel. It's all very personal. This is the first time in my life, and using a group like this, it's very varied and very intellectually stimulating, and it helped me also to see things in a different way. And I'm very, very happy to interact with each and one of you. You all have contributed into my personal life as well. And thank you so much, and thank you so much for inviting me here and just providing me this wonderful platform. And definitely you all are a huge part in my future and growth. Thank you so much.